can never guarantee.
You know what the difference is 25 years later? The knees.
The knees?
Well, that and my waist, but the knees. Okay. The up and the down still happen, it's just a lot slower.
Ya la ya la la ya la ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 I la ya la la I la ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 I la la ya la ya la 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 I la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 I ya la
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We are gathered here in the sanctuary of the Brooklyn Heights Synagogue and also on Zoom as we welcome Shabbat on what is a rainy spring Shabbat Eve, but the rain comes as a blessing to the earth that needs it, and also as a reminder to we who need the rain and the water, and that reminder that we are part of the cycles of the greater nature that speaks to being creatures and not merely creators. We have a PDF on the Zoom if you want to follow along. We are in our Mishkan Tefillah, our prayer book here in the sanctuary. And between our numbers here in the sanctuary and the Zoom, I know that we have Minyan. We were talking just before about how we are still in that stage of the pandemic where we invite people to come. We are actually optional on masking in the building, although we really recommend it given the rise in numbers, but it's a choice you get to make. And for those who are most comfortable, I will remind you that there is Zoom each and every week. We are going to, in a few weeks, be moving over to the auditorium at St. Francis College for the foreseeable future, whether that's until October 15th, November 15th, December 15th, we are not quite sure, but we are excited to have a space close by to our home with comfortable stadium seating where we will gather and recite familiar prayers and blessings. But in the meantime, we are here for a little bit longer in the sanctuary, so very exciting what is upcoming. We are going to turn to the kindling of Shabbat lights, the very last action of our work week. And I want to call on my friend, Rabbi Cantor Allison Wissett, to come on up for the kindling of lights. We're on page 2 or right up on the wall. You can sing it.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you. It's been a real pleasure over this week as we've celebrated 25 years together to have so many friends and colleagues who've come back into Brooklyn, some as far as California, and others perhaps a little bit more locally, but to gather together. It's really been a very special treat. We are going to take the journey together of Kabbalat Shabbat, of welcoming, really, as I like to put it, inviting Shabbat. So I invite you in the prayer book to turn to page 9 or right up on the wall. If I can get the IR to work, there we go. There are days, too many, when we seek things for ourselves and measure our failure by what we do not gain together. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. And there are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. And there are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. You'll find L'Hunaranana, the beginning of the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, starting on page 12 or right up on the wall. Find the words of Romamu on page 17 or still up on the wall.
Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Sharona Eloheinu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kodsho.
Jewish tradition has both sacred time and sacred space. We gather in the sacred space of the sanctuary. We expand that sacred space over the Ethernet and the internet into your home and create a sanctuary of worship wherever we are. But as Rabbi Heschel taught us, Shabbat is that island in time, that personification of sacred time that comes and returns week after week. Embodying that idea are the words of Lecha Dodi, Shlomo Halevi Alkabet's beautiful piyut, his poem, as always, pages 20 and 21. When we finally reach the last stanza, number 9, we will arise in body and or spirit as we are able, face the entryway to the sanctuary or our homes and invite Shabbat to join us again.
לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פן שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פן שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. ארוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתחילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פן שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פן שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פן שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פן שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פן שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פן שבת נקבלה.
We arise in body and our spirit, face the entryway, and invite Shabbat to join us.
בואי ושלום עצרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חנה, בואי חנה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פן שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פן שבת נקבלה.
I'm going to ask you to stay standing for just a moment. I want to make a reflection before I invite you to go up to people and wish them Shabbat Shalom. I think a week or so ago, I was commenting on how the melodic composition underneath Lecha Dodi often influences, at least for me at this stage, how I envision Shabbat. So that we had a compositional form that made me think, literally, I hate to say this, but it's true, Dolly, I was thinking of Hello, Dolly, and Barbara Streisand walking in at that moment, in that pink silk taffeta, or whatever the outfit is she's wearing. And this week, as we had a different kind of a rhythm, I'm not quite sure what we could dance this to, Miriam. You're going to tell me this. I was thinking samba. I was definitely thinking a samba. I was picturing the Shabbat bride coming in samba. So now, sometimes that might seem flippant or silly, but in truth, when we envision Shabbat joining us personified, that issue of being able to embrace Shabbat is something more than a concept, but actually envisioning Shabbat in that way has great power, I believe. And it gives us something to look forward to week after week, and with each different type of melody and composition, a different variation of the strength and the wonder of Shabbat. So, with that reflection, I invite us here in the sanctuary, take a moment, wish Shabbat Shalom to those you've arrived with, and say hello to someone new. Introduce yourself.
tapes, I'd have a whole wardrobe. This opens this whole door for me. I don't know.
Kind of like, so this is kind of like Kisei Eliyahu, but not quite. There we go. Please feel free to have a seat. We are going to, having invited Shabbat in, turn to Psalm 92, the psalm that the Levites would have sung in Jerusalem as Shabbat approached. And I'll invite you to join together with the cantor in the singing of Shir L'Yom HaShabbat.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי יסוב עלינה, עלי היגיון בחינות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך ארנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני מאוד, עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
Rise in body and or spirit as able. Reader's Cottage, page 26, or right up on the wall.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולם מעלמיה, יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. Ya na 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 na, 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 ya na na. ברכו את אדוני המבורך, Baruch Adonai Amborach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Amborach Leolam Vaed. Yanai, 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 yanai,
from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. We praise you, Adonai God.
Ahavat olam Beit Israel Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו נגע יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Neolam Vaed Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha Bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele Asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
On the party shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא נורא תהילות תהילות עושה פלא, נורא נורא תהילות תהילות עושה פלא. מלכותך ראו בניך בקיים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי אנו ואמרו, אדוני אדוני ימלוך לעולם לעולם בעד בעד, אדוני אדוני ימלוך לעולם לעולם בעד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים, ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, או אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום, או אדוני, עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג, עונג שבת. Sheshebi, Mekada Sheshebi, Shabbat, Kulam Yizbu, Veyidangu Mituvecha, Shabbat, Yismechu B'Malechutecha, Yismechu B'Malechutecha, Shomrei Shabbat, V'Korei Oneg, Oneg Shabbat, Ratzitabo v'kidashto Shabbat Chemdat yamim Ota karata Shabbat Yismechu v'malachutecha Yismechu v'malachutecha Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Oneg Shabbat L'maaseh v'reishit Yismechu v'malachutecha Yismechu v'malachutecha Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Oneg Shabbat.
On that note, we rise in body and or spirit as we offer our prayers to Milah, page 46, or right up on the wall.
Yalanai-dai-dai, 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 yalanai-dai-dai. Adonai, sifatai tiftachu fi yagid tehilatecha. So that my mouth may declare your praise. Yalanai-dai-dai, 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 yalanai-dai-dai. Baruch atah Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
And as is our custom, I invite you to remain standing if that's your custom, or be seated if that is your custom, as we continue on now with Tefillah, top of page 55, or right on the wall. Together, may these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day.
May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Amen.
Page 57, together, ever-present one. May we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer.
Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Amen.
Page 59, together, God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul or life within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shemcha ulecha na'eh lehodot.
Amen.
Birkat Shalom, page 60, perfect Shalom.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם.
Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom.
Amen.
I invite you now to have a seat. Silent prayer can be found on page 62, some contemporary settings on 63, or whatever our own hearts now prompt. Now I think, there we go. Apparently my mic fell out of power, so there we go. Sorry about that. Shabbat Shalom. Special thanks to those who decided to come out in the midst of the rain tonight. It's appreciated. A little wet, not too terrible. Roberta A. Drury was 32. She was buying groceries at the top supermarket to make dinner. Margus D. Morrison, 52, a school bus aide, loved to make jokes. Andre Macnell, 53, was picking up a cake for his son's 3rd birthday. Aaron Salter, 55, was a retired Buffalo police officer and the store's security guard. Geraldine Talley was 62. She was an avid baker who brought apple cinnamon bread pudding and chocolate peanut butter pie to loved ones. Celestine Cheney, 65, a great-grandmother and a cancer survivor, was picking up strawberries to make shortcake. Hayward Patterson, 67, a deacon who often drove fellow church members to Tops. Catherine Massey, 72, who recently wrote a letter you can Google to the Buffalo News about gun control. Pearl Young, 77, who volunteered every Saturday at the local food pantry. Ruth Whitefield, 86. She had just left a visit with her husband in a nursing home. These are the victims of the senseless attack in Buffalo. May their memories be for a blessing. They are not the only, nor even the most recent, of those senselessly killed by gunmen in our nation. But like the shooting at Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina, and the Passover shooting at Chabad in Poway, California, it is yet again the case of a young man radicalized by hate with access to weapons and an active disregard for the sanctity of all and every human life. Now, I could offer a sermon about restricting access to automatic weapons, and I've offered those, but tonight, briefly, I would like to reflect upon the curious fact that for a nation that seems to regularly proclaim its religiosity, we've been listening to a lot of that, right? For a nation that seems to regularly proclaim its religiosity, that the most fundamental of religious teachings, that all human beings are created in the divine image, and therefore that we are all brethren, at least cousins, one to the other, regardless of the color of our skin or our gender or the faith which we practice or even the politics we espouse, that we are all, every human being, all children of the same one God. Well, it's strange that in America that religious affirmation seems regularly lost, silenced, absent. For so many who see in their own group God's bestowed favor upon them uniquely, unequivocally, who see a divine right to some special empowerment as part of a group, how can it be that some simultaneously ignore, no, deny, the most essential teaching of Abrahamic monotheism? Remember? Jews, Christians, Muslims, we all agree on this. One man and one woman were created to teach that whoever destroys a single life destroys a world, and whoever preserves a single life preserves a world. All human life has innate value. Each and every human being is endowed with value and worth, not based on what we do or what we contribute, though those do add to our merit, but rather a baseline. We have value and worth simply because we are God's creatures, and we each and every one of us is endowed at least with some small echo of divinity. Think about that. The person you least want to deal with, the person who's making your subway ride miserable because they're sprawled out on a couple of chairs and, well, you know. They are endowed with an echo of divinity. So to take lives, not just a life, but lives, in such a brutal manner isn't only to deny the value and worth of those human beings being slaughtered and murdered. I think it's also, in some sense, a denial of the divine within the one doing it. It's no coincidence to me that so many of these violent shooters, radicalized by hate speech and conspiracy theories, are young men. There is a spiritual emptiness in our country. And I'm not talking about religious institutions, but something deeper. There is a spiritual emptiness within so many that today is palpably filled and kindled with anger as a substitute, resentment as a substitute, and a false sense of entitlement denied. A sense of entitlement that sees only self and similar, denying anyone who looks different. Seething with hatred and hormones. These young men are the easy targets of hate mongers and a society that has decided that nothing, no matter how hateful or insightful, is off limits in the echo chambers of social media and in some of the pulpits across this country. Such nurtured abhorrence of what appears different seems to me to speak to their own dissatisfaction with self, to a spiraling, self-destructive journey in which these young men are propelled and determined only to first murder as many as they can of those they've been taught to hate before they then murder their own starving selves and souls. They are a generation, I think, of young, dare I say, literally soulless men who have filled their emptiness and fear, or have had their emptiness and fear filled with anger and hatred and resentment. I'm not going to pretend to have a solution to this radicalized hatred and violence. I would not even claim that my insight is in any way unique or that it leads us to any easy answers. But I feel called upon to proclaim that I do believe that as a society we have a responsibility to combat evil, to combat hatred, to do the work that we in houses of worship, and so many of those who I read you their little description, those gone down already know. The business of fighting hatred, what is it? Well, we heard, to make dinner for someone who's in need, to offer a joke, to raise the spirit of another, to celebrate a precious moment in the life of another, to guard the welfare and security of another, to bake pies and pick up strawberries for another, to offer a lift, transportation to another, to volunteer at the local food pantry or homeless shelter, to volunteer at the nursing home. It is in doing good in modeling how to fill the emptiness that so many of these young men feel, that we can fight against those who would kindle anger, hatred, and resentment. I find a guide to this in these totally Jewish sentiments of St. Francis of Assisi. O Lord, make me an instrument of your shalom. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, and we fill the empty spaces of our hearts, and it is in pardoning and doing all of these things that we are pardoned. Kain Yehi Ratzon. As always, I welcome feedback and comments. If you send in an email, please know it's better if you send it after Shabbat so it doesn't fall under all the commercial garbage that ends up in the email box. Our thoughts turn to those in need of blessing and or healing, with the hopes that our prayers will buoy up their spirits. You can turn ahead to page 253. Page 253. Hang on a sec. On this Shabbat evening, we call to mind for healing and blessing, whether minor, modest, or major. Oops, missed that. Sorry. We call to mind Lori Blum, Gloria Sancho, Jenny St. George, Chava Gittel bat Freda, Yona Chaya bat Miriam, Ruth bat Binyamin Bechava, Steve Brown Inns, Yona Tevya ben Label Begita Kenya, Renee Fishzone, Moshe ben Leah, Nancy Lazar, Delroy Aline, Max Estroff, Chaika bat Freda, Chaim, Kim Petchek, Peggy Einhorn, Bruce Shapiro Nygren, Eleanor Shapiro Nygren, Bela Rivka bat Shmuel Pesach Esther, Susan Sonkin, David Stephen Cohen, Peter Hort, Ken Kalman Cohn, Christy Frank, Sally Sorbello, Vlada Rusev, Nick Boyer, Julie Bromberg, Eileen Dernfeld, Tom Walton, Judith Mincha, Chris Adam, Tim Weber, Jay Wertheimer, Ari Gilbert, Roberta Jamal, Rivka bat Nuchum Viperel, Gilbert Young, and Kathy Nesson. If you have a name you'd like to add for blessing and healing, please do share those names loud as my hand comes across the congregation.
Alexander Bensar.
We join together.
Mi shebeirach avoteinu mekor haberacha le'imotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor haberacha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with the refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Our prayers turn to our nation and to the state of Israel, pages 258, 259 are right up on the wall as we join together. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance, and may they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country sound in body and spirit. Amen. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love and spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land, grant them deliverance, and adorn them in a mantle of victory. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. You can find the text for counting Omer on 278 as we take our journey from escaping slavery on that very first night of Seder, the next day, the first day of counting Omer, on our journey to Sinai and Covenant. So we are tonight at 5 weeks, which means that we are 2 weeks away from Shavuot, to arriving and hearing the word Anochi. So let's join together. Hineni muchan umzuman lekayem mitzvat aseh shel sfirat haomer. Behold, we are ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Our praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer. Hayom chamisha u'shloshim yom shehem chamisha shvuot la'omer. Today is 35 days, which is 5 weeks in our count of the Omer. As we journey, may we recommit ourselves not only to our freedom, but also to the covenant and responsibilities for which it was created. We are going to turn now to concluding prayers. Aleinu, page 283, as we rise in body and or spirit. Page 283.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו
קוראים ומשתחווים
ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כל כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא אלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר וחיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts turn to those who are gathered with us through the blessing that is memory. We recall these passings in the Shloshim in the last 30 days. Noam Raz, Roberta A. Drury, Margus Morrison, Aaron Salter, Andre McNeil, Geraldine Talley, Celestine Cheney, Hayward Patterson, Catherine Massey, Pearl Young, Ruth Whitefield, Ann Dacus, Yonatan Havakuk, Oren Ben Yiftach, Boaz Goel, Yigal Ben Shmuel Basara, and Tamina Niazi. We also call to mind those whose yahrzeit falls at this season. Louis Itkin is recalled by Rita Schwartz. Marilyn Itkin Gaynor is also recalled by Rita. Michael Robert Abram is recalled by Dorothy Siegel and the entire congregation. Howard Wolf is recalled by Andrew Wolf. Jack Schindler is recalled by Steve Schindler. Edward Slavin is recalled by Karen Brody. Hal Fonstein is recalled by Cliff Fonstein. Benno Sternlicht is recalled by Aaron Sternlicht. Dorothy Benjamin is recalled by Evan Benjamin. Norman Pemstein is recalled by Ellen Pemstein. Francis Dreskin is recalled by Rachel Fingerman. Martin Edelman is recalled by Rebecca Layden, Ellen Edelman, and the entire BHS community. Ruth Levinson is recalled by the community. Pauline Silverman is recalled by Dan Silverman. Benjamin Kramer is recalled by the community. Herb Rosenbaum is recalled by Dan Rosenbaum. Karen Arbeit is recalled by Susan Arbeit. Esther King is recalled by Karen Newberg. Sylvia Rosenberg is recalled by the congregational community. Ed Sack is recalled by Suzanne Sack and the congregation. Matthew Bernofsky is recalled by Doris Versch. Louis Person is recalled by the congregation. Irving Abram is recalled by Dorothy Siegel. Maxine Schell is recalled by Martin Schell. Audrey Katz is recalled by Judy Wynn. Judith Feinberg is recalled by Renee Fishzone. Stephen Wagner is recalled by Margaret Barry. Murray Epstein is recalled by Holly Ojavo. Marilyn Miller Bowie is recalled by Alexandra Bowie. Charles Kalin is recalled by Eugene Kalin. Donald Krim is recalled by Susan Krim and the congregation. Rabbi Aaron Pankin is recalled by my family and by the community of Reform rabbis. Lucille Strauss is recalled by Cecile Hanft. Frida Boykoff is recalled by Emily Berger. Philip Schneider is recalled by the congregation. Stuart Benson Gold is recalled by Hannah Ninkov. Levon Steamer is recalled by Amy Leesman. Isabel Ehrlich Goodman is recalled by Bobby and Molly List. Lillian Kingsley is recalled by Howard Helene. William Bill Taylor is recalled by Ann Landman. Ron Rapchick is recalled by Linda Rapchick and the community. George Rubin is recalled by Amy Leesman. Ben Silverstein is recalled by our congregation. Carol Rosenblatt is recalled by Nina Rosenblatt Silva. Etta Starkman is recalled by Phyllis Starkman. Max Cohen is recalled by Jack Cohen. Sarah Schneider is recalled by Robin Slade, Ed Gabay, Jesse, and family. Norma Buckholtz is recalled by Sheila Scharfman and by Cheryl Buckholtz. Robin Pappas is recalled by Brooke Lux. Selma Wallace is recalled by the community. I apologize, our list is a little out of sorts tonight. Make sure that I share the name that Philip Schneider is recalled by Dana Schneider and the community. Oh, more names. Arlene Gordon is recalled by Josh Gordon. Seymour Feller is recalled by Andrea Feller. Lena Harris is recalled by Diane Person. Joseph Ezekiel Jacob is recalled by the congregational community. Andrew Edelman is recalled by Ellen Pemstein. Joseph Powers is recalled by Jeff Powers. Phyllis Schlagman is recalled by Renee Fishzone. Ellen Newman is recalled by Hillary Newman. And Yaskel Fuhrer is recalled by Miriam Bukatinsky. My apologies. If any of these names has been mislisted, mispronounced, or if I have failed to share a name aloud, I would like to invite you to share those names for Kaddish aloud as my hand comes across the congregation. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may their memories be for blessing. We sanctify their names, even as we sanctify God's name and pray for the coming of God's realm. The words of the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yit Gadal V'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bi'alma Divrach Hirutei V'Yamlich Malchutei. B'chai Echonu V'Yomechonu V'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael. B'Agalau V'Zman Kariv V'Imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam U'Lamei Almaya. Barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shemei kudsha b'richu ha'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata d'amiran b'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlamma rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace on high cause peace to descend upon us, all Israel, our entire world. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Ve'imeru.
Amen.
Amen. Please be seated, everyone. The briefest of announcements. I don't think we had announcement sheets tonight, did we? No, there are no announcement sheets. Okay.
The Shabbat handouts, but
Are there Shabbat handouts?
Yeah, somewhere.
Were there? Did you see them? No Shabbat. No Shabbat. Okay.
Okay.
It's okay. You know, it's the day after. So what's coming up next? So tomorrow morning, Cantor Porzakansky is leading Chavurah. So 9:30 in the library or on Zoom. Upcoming, we have Monday night is the congregational annual meeting, in which we need members of the congregation to come and vote in the new slate of officers and pass the budget and all of those good things. So I believe that is scheduled for, I think it's 7 o'clock on Monday evening. Please come on out. You can send a proxy in if you can't be here in person. On Sunday morning, June 5th, we will be gathering for Shavuot morning services at 10:30 a.m., led by some of our confirmation students, the cantor, and myself. That will include a Yizkor service that morning as well. So don't forget, we are working our way to Shavuot. We don't want to be counting off the Omer and then not arrive. So that would be kind of a shame. So that's Sunday morning, both live here in the sanctuary and on Zoom. It will be our last service in this sanctuary for the foreseeable future. And thereafter, we will, just to reiterate, we will be worshiping on Friday nights, Chavurah on Saturday mornings, at St. Francis College Auditorium. If you've never been there, it's 1 block down across the street, handicapped accessible, there's security, it's lovely stadium seating with air conditioning. So please do join Miriam and the cantor, and I will be there. We will be there throughout the summertime, one of us at least leading worship throughout the summer months. If you are a lay leader who likes to lead worship, we would love to have you also participate, as is our custom, so please let the cantor or myself know. Have I left out anything important?
I don't think so.
Okay, very good.
I'm sure there's book clubs and movie things that we forgot. Please check the website.
Oh, thank you, Rissa. The Israel Parade.
Oh, yes.
The Israel Parade is this Sunday. Michael Goldberg, you want to tell us about the Israel Parade?
So the plan is we're going to leave, we're going to meet whoever wants to join. We're going to leave here 11:30 Sunday morning, and we're going to take the subway to a designated spot, and we have a step-up time, and the march is about 45 minutes.
So 11:30 a.m. this Sunday, meet here outside of the synagogue, and you're going to take the subway into Manhattan for the designated spot. And Michael Goldberg, thank you so much.
Just one more thing. For security reasons, they need to know who's in our group. So I'll hang around here after services and just approach you and give you your coordinates, and I'll add you to the list.
Right, you need to be on the security list, so if you're listening on the live stream, you can find on our membership app Michael Goldberg's contact, email him, and let him know that you're planning on coming out on Sunday. Thank you, Michael. Our closing song is Adon Olam. All the batteries are just dying tonight. Okay, this is...
Oh, almost there.
It's arthritic.
It really is.
It's not... Oh,
Yeah,
there we
you
go.
got it.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצוחב לי בעת צרה והוא נפשי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא בידו אפקיד רוחי בעת אישן ואירה ועם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא אירה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה.
Shabbat Shalom. Please join us outside for Kiddush. Bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Bim, bam. Oh, there they are. Bim, 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 bam. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, I saw.